Oh, hello guys. Today I'm going to show you how to use loops in C programming. Uh, so what we have to do is to open our compiler or the environment. For this case is Visual Studio Code. You double click on it. So if you want to open a new project, you go to File, and then go to Open Folder. You locate where your project uh, has to be. So for this case, it has to be on the desktop. So this is my decision. You right click and create a new file. So let's call it C program, C programs, and then select the folder. So it will open in the editor's mode. So from there, you have to click on the icon for new file. So you click on it and it will bring that space for writing that file name. So we call it loops.c. So the dot gives it the file extension. So you enter. Yeah. So from there, it will take you direct to the file. It will open it automatically if you press enter. So we shall have to include the header file, the standard input and output library. So we use the command #include and then include it there. It is called stdio.h, and then we can go to the main program. We can go to the main program, int main, and then open the curly brackets. So the example, so this program is going to be based on even numbers, how to print even numbers using loops. So this program is based on uh, even numbers. So we are going to see how we can print even numbers, maybe between 100 and 200 using loops. So for this case, I will show you how to use a for loop and a while loop. So we are going to print, we are going to print even numbers between 100 and 200. So this example is going to show us the right way of using loops. So let's start with a for loop. So these are just comments. They will not be recognized by the compiler. So we are going to use a for loop. So from there, so these comments won't be understood by the compiler. The compiler will just skip them, skip those lines which are blank and those which have comments. So let's get started. So we shall have to initialize all. You can for a for loop you can initialize the, for example, if we have I, we shall use a for loop. So we have to put in the statements within a for loop. So we shall initialize I. I has to start from 101 because we want even numbers between 100 and 200. So I has to start from 101 because 100 is not inclusive. So you terminate because that is a statement. So we have initialized the I, and I will stop at to 199. So for that case, you can put less than 1 or 200, or you can put less than or equal 199. Me, I like using less than only. Terminate. Now, what we have to do next is to, because this is a loop, it will be counting numbers from 101 to 102. Like, to go to the next number, we have to iterate. We have to put a condition of iteration. So for that case, it will be I plus plus. So this means that it's the same as I equals to I plus 1. Yeah, that condition there. It means the same thing. Like, to go to the next I, you have to add a 1 on the previous one. So it's I plus plus, then you open curly brackets. So for this int that I declared outside the loop, you can as well declare it from inside the loop, that int I. So this one works for only a for loop. It doesn't work the same way. Like, you can't declare it from a while loop inside. Now, that one also works for a for loop. So we want to print even numbers using a for loop. Even numbers between 100 and uh, 200. So we shall set a condition that if this number I, so if we get I and divide it by 2, so and divide it by 2, for the, if you want to get a remainder, you use a percentage sign to mean a remainder. Like, if I divided by 2 gives us a remainder 0, you get it? Yeah. But if you want to divide, you don't want to return a remainder, then you have to use a forward slash. But if you want to return a remainder, you have to use percentage. I percentage 2 equals to 0. It means that if you get I divided by 2, you have to get a remainder 0. So if we get such a thing, if this I in our for loop divided by 2 gives us a remainder 0, so we should print that number, whichever number that gives us a remainder 0. So instead of that, I put integer, and we have to print integer or each I on a new line, then refer to I. Yeah, that's it. Very simple. So outside the loop, you have to return to tell your compiler that we are done. The program has stopped, and then save. Try to run it and see. It will take some little time, but don't worry. Yeah, well, it has printed them. So you realize that our first even number will start from 102. You get? Because I wanted even numbers between 100 and 200. So the first even number will start from 102, as you can see, and it will stop at 199, because I said that 100 and 200 are not inclusive. Yes, that's the output. So now, what if someone asks you to use a while loop? What will you do? So let's try it out with a while loop. So for this case, it will we shall have to use a different syntax for that. So let's create another, or we can comment this one out. The for loop, it can be commented out, and then we use a while loop. Now, these comments won't be read by or won't be compiled by the compiler. They won't be executed. Now, assuming that someone has told you to use a while loop, what will you do? So we have to first initialize the variable that will contain our numbers. So we have uh, to declare the variable at the same time initializing it. It has to start from 101. Then you put a condition that uh, while this I goes up to 200, while this I is less than 200, then do something. So for that case, if this I divided by 2 gives you a remainder 0, then do something. We print those numbers. So we have to print their integers, percentage %d, and each on a new line. So we refer to I and then terminate. Now for a while loop, we don't iterate from inside these brackets, the ones you're seeing on the while. So we initialize, we iterate at the end. So after writing your condition, you iterate I plus plus and terminate. So for that case, that's how we use a while loop. So if we try to run it and we see, oh, it will take some little time. Yeah, very well. Now you see, yeah, it has given us the same output as that for a for loop. Thank you for watching.